Now, this area, if you're looking for your next project, we think we may have found you a perfect story.
Yeah, Bernard Cribbins has been delving into the crime vaults to investigate a real-life murder mystery. Have a look.
I have a feeling you'll be talking about today's real tale long after I've finished telling it. Why? Because the story's main protagonist may well have committed the impossible murder. Liverpool Crown Court, April 1931. Insurance salesman William Wallace is found guilty of the brutal murder of his wife, Julia. The neighbours are shocked, but not unduly surprised. The Wallaces have always been an odd couple. And the evidence? On the 19th of January, William Wallace had gone to a meeting of the Liverpool Central Chess Club. There was a telephone message awaiting him. A Mr. Qualtrough would be obliged if he would call on him the following evening at 25 Menlove Gardens East to discuss the purchase of an insurance policy. And why not? After all, Wallace was the local man from the Prue. Next evening, Wallace set off for Menlove Gardens. He found Menlove Gardens North, South and West, but of Menlove Gardens East there was no sign. Eventually, he made the long journey home. He found the house was in darkness and locked up, front and back. He called out to his wife. Julia! Julia! Oh. Lying on the front parlour floor, they found Wallace's wife, bloodied, badly beaten and dead. Was it a robbery gone wrong? But Julia's purse had not been touched, and anyway, how could a burglar have got into a locked house? There were no signs of a forced entry. So, who had murdered Julia Wallace, and why? The attack had been frenzied, personal, and the only person close to Julia Wallace was her husband. 2 weeks later, Wallace was arrested for her murder. The court heard the phone call from Mr. Qualtrough had been made from a kiosk just yards from Wallace's house.
Could I leave a message for Mr. Wallace?
The prosecution contended that Wallace himself had made the call to give himself an alibi. Julia had last been seen at 7:15 the night she died. Wallace was seen on a tram at 7:06. Could he have murdered Julia, then dashed out in that time? A police reconstruction showed he could have, just. But the officer who sprinted from Wallace's house to the tram stop was young and fit. Wallace was in his 50s and in poor health. Then there was the matter of the lack of blood on Wallace's clothes. The only blood found had been a small speck on the toilet bowl. The police had a theory. They pointed to a half-burnt, blood-stained mackintosh lying near Julia's body. Supposing Wallace had been wearing it and nothing else when he bludgeoned Julia to death. All the while, Wallace stood in the dock, detached, haughty. It took the jury just an hour to find him guilty. But Wallace took his case to the Court of Criminal Appeal. The Lord Chief Justice quashed the verdict on the grounds that it was not supported by the weight of evidence. Wallace walked from the court a free man. No one else was ever tried for the murder of Julia Wallace. It remains still an open case. So, did Wallace, after all, commit the impossible murder? Perhaps we should give the man himself the final word. On his deathbed, Wallace was visited by the junior defence counsel at his trial. He looked up at the young barrister, a sly glint in his eye. "Well, Sonny," he said, "we won, didn't we? We won."
Bernard.
So he did.
Wow.
No, you did. If that's your final thought in your deathbed, you did. It's not a fact, by the way.
I don't know what you wanted to say. I agree. Yeah.
Moving on.